West Indiana police chief was charged in Lake County Criminal Court Sunday with multiple counts of felony theft and official misconduct. Sources with knowledge of the investigation say new Chicago Police Chief Earl Mayo is under investigation for allegedly taking guns seized from criminal cases by his department and then selling the weapons for his own profit. Charging documents filed Sunday in the case allege that on May 21st, Lake County Sheriff's detectives learned that Mayo had illegally sold a Taurus G3 handgun that had been seized as evidence by the new Chicago Police Department in a previous criminal case. Mayo allegedly sold the gun for his own profit to Mega Cash Pawn in Hobart. At one point, Mayo also had tried to get one of his subordinate police officers to go to the pawn shop and buy back the gun and also to go to Mayo's Maryville residence to retrieve other firearms. New Chicago Police Officer Goffin advised that Earl Mayo specifically wanted Officer Goffin to retrieve suppressors or suppressed firearms from a safe in Earl Mayo's residence, the charging documents state. Officer Goffin also stated that Earl Mayo had recently told Officer Goffin that he has things inside his residence that the feds would never find, which Officer Goffin knew from previous conversations to include firearm suppressors. Officer Goffin stated that he was supposed to go to the residence after retrieving the firearm from the pawn shop and enter a safe at Earl Mayo's residence and retrieve firearms. A Lake County detective was able to get to the pawn shop before Mayo could reacquire the pawned handgun, police said. On May 22nd, when the detective entered the store, he observed a woman, later identified as Mayo's accomplice, Tanika Borders, and another man in an alleged transaction to retrieve the firearm, court records allege. Borders, who was wearing a pink tracksuit, quickly left the store when the detective arrived, court records state. The detective seized the firearm from the store and also obtained a receipt of sale in which Mayo allegedly sold the firearm and 11 other guns to the pawn store on April 29th for a total of $2,010. The detective also learned that Borders had been sent to the store with $600 in an attempt to reacquire the Taurus G3 handgun for Mayo, court records state. Mayo was being held this weekend in the Clark County Jail in Ohio, pending extradition to Lake County to face the charges. Clark County Jail records label him as a fugitive from justice in the Indiana case. Lake County court records listed 7 felony charges for Mayo: theft of a firearm, 2 counts of official misconduct of a public servant, attempted obstruction of justice, 2 counts of unlawful possession of an anabolic steroid, and theft with a prior conviction of theft or conversion. Prosecutors also have charged Borders of Maryville with 2 felony counts of attempted assisting of a criminal, attempted obstruction of justice, and 2 counts of possessing an illegal anabolic steroid. Prosecutors allege in addition to serving as an accomplice in the gun case, Borders also attempted to dispose of illegal steroids kept at Mayo's Maryville residence. Sources with knowledge of the case say Borders was in a romantic relationship with Mayo outside of his marriage. Lake County Sheriff Oscar Martinez said Friday that his department had taken over policing duties for the town in the wake of an investigation. Multiple sources say search warrants were served at Mayo's Maryville residence Friday by county police and federal agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. Those sources say more than 100 guns were seized in the search. Mayo, 45, is the son of Indiana State Police Major Jerry Williams, who recently won the Lake County Democratic primary and will be his party's nominee for sheriff in the November general election. Williams acknowledged the investigation of Mayo in a statement issued to the Times Saturday morning. "My wife and I and our family are deeply concerned over recent information regarding our son, Earl Mayo, chief of the new Chicago Police Department," Williams said in the written statement. "We raised all of our children with love, guidance, and a strong foundation of values. We've always held our children to higher standards, as we have ourselves. We have very little information about this incident at this time. We are aware there are allegations that are troubling, and we struggle to reconcile them with the values we worked so hard to instill in all of our children and grandchildren. If it is ultimately established that Earl engaged in the conduct alleged by the government, then he must and should accept responsibility for his actions and face the consequences."